What's up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're gonna go from Irvine all the way up to downtown Los Angeles. And I just updated to the newest software. So we're gonna see how Autopilot does on this drive. It's almost rush hour, but we hopefully won't run into too much traffic. And in this video, we're gonna discuss the 5 things I like about the Tesla Model 3. There's probably so many things that you could possibly like about the Tesla Model 3, but I'm gonna go over the top 5 things that I like about the current Tesla Model 3 in 2020. Let's get into the video. So the first thing I like about the Tesla Model 3 is the speed, the 0 to 60, and I really like how you can switch a Tesla Model 3 performance from chill to sport whenever you want. Because sometimes I actually don't want to drive in sport. It's just too jerky and I just want to drive smooth and chill sometimes. So of course the 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds is a huge plus. It never gets old, and I love showing friends while they're in the car the 0 to 60 because it's just a bunch of power all at the same time. But it's probably not good for my tires, as I just made a tire video, which I'll put it in the description or linked above. But I've got almost 13,000 miles on my tires and we're about 4 millimeters left on the tread. So they should probably last another 10,000 miles depending on how I drive. So of course, if I'm doing a lot of 0 to 60s all over the place, I'm definitely going to need a new fresh set of tires. And I have the 18-inch rims, which those tires are a little thicker than the 20-inch or even the 19-inch rims. So I can't imagine people with the 19-inch rims or the 20-inch rims having tires that last much longer than 20,000 miles. And even if you have a long-range all-wheel drive or even the short-range Tesla Model 3, the Tesla Model 3 0 to 60 is fast, but so is the 0 to 30. It's still a very fast car in those long ranges that does great around city driving or even just scooting around town on the local roads. It's all the power you really need. So we're about to jump onto the 405 North, heading up to Downey. Okay. Looks like Autopilot didn't realize that we're going to get on the highway there, so it looks like it was going to go straight. So at that last second, I took over it and we got into the highway. It should take us about 37 minutes to get up there, and it's 35 miles away. Once we get onto the highway off this ramp, I'm gonna turn on Autopilot and then we'll see how it does up there. In terms of the conditions, it's 79 degrees out. Kind of a cloudy day, but Autopilot should really have no issue navigating through the roads or sensing with the cameras. It's really only when the sun is super bright, that's where the cameras can't necessarily see the roads or wherever we're going. But yeah, thanks for watching another video, guys. If you're new here, my name is Dennis. I picked up this Tesla Model 3 almost a year ago and I make videos about my experience. So if you're interested in any of that, please hit that subscribe. Okay, so we're now on to the 405 North. Cruise control setting is set to 76 miles an hour. I'm going about 70 miles an hour following this truck. The Autopilot system wants me to get into the left lane. It looks pretty clear, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So actually this is pretty nice. This is part of the new update in which the rear view camera not only shows your rear view camera, of course, but also your side view cameras as well, which is really nice for if you're filming Autopilot videos like this. I can kind of just throw this on the whole way and you can see from your angle what's behind me, what's to the left of me, and what's to the right of me. It's actually a pretty cool feature that they implemented. I think they listened to recommendations from Tesla owners about this, and that's why they implemented it. It's really cool that Tesla as a company listens to their owners and implements stuff right away that they like or that they can do into their software. So really that's the second thing that I really like about the Tesla Model 3. You've probably heard it more and more, but Tesla always comes out with software updates from their car over the air. It's completely free, and really what that means is that your car gets better and better the longer you own it. And no other car company kind of does that. It's completely free, in which other companies will charge you for a navigational update or a map update, whereas Tesla just downloads it to your car. All you need is just use your Wi-Fi and use your internet to download it, and it's completely free. And they've had so many different features come out, and with even just in the past year, from games to different software updates to even just this, new camera angles. And I've noticed every single time they come out with an update, the Autopilot system just gets better and better, which I'm gonna combine the software and the Autopilot into one as my second thing that I really like about the Tesla Model 3. But the Autopilot software is fantastic once you get used to it and you trust it. It really takes the fatigue away from these long drives, especially on the highway, whether you're in rush hour traffic or kind of the smooth moving traffic like this. You kind of sit back, just monitor what the car is doing, and just kind of give it adjustments every 30 seconds to a minute or so that you're here and that you're paying attention. You don't have to touch the brakes, you don't have to touch the accelerator, you can kind of just prop your feet up You shouldn't, of course. You should still monitor and keep your foot above the brakes, but you can just sit back, relax, and just let Tesla do your commute for you. In terms of what version this is 10.2, hardware 3, of course, full self-driving, 2020.24.6.1. And speaking about the updates, we just had one, and I just updated today, but we just talked about the backup camera improvements. There's dash cam improvements for downloading your software. GPS updates, they added Fallout Shelter as a game on one of the other updates, and I was playing that. Just a ton of different updates. Which leads me to the third thing that I really like about the Tesla Model 3 is the dash cam and the Sentry cam features. Before on other cars, and a lot of my friends have this, they have dash cams that are hanging from the car that records all their drives and even records while they're parked. Well, I love how Tesla just integrates that into the car, and you don't have to buy any sort of software whatsoever. And all you have to really buy if you want to store the footage is some sort of memory device so that you can save all the footage and review it later. Tesla really makes it easy to keep an eye on your car, whether you're driving or whether you're having it parked at the shopping malls or even at work. All right, so we're definitely running it pretty close on this trip. We're gonna arrive with about 21% of the battery left, but Autopilot has been doing pretty fine so far. The traffic seems to be flowing and it's not rush hour traffic. Pretty much all of this is a construction zone, but it seems to be navigating it pretty fine because the markings on the road aren't too complicated for the Autopilot system. We're going about 62 miles an hour. Cruise control is set to 75 miles an hour. Just pacing this truck right here. Autopilot wants me to get into the left lane because it thinks it's faster. Looks pretty open, and we are shut. It's kind of deciding, and then, okay, we're good. The left lane, the complete left lane is the HOV side. So we'll just stay in this lane because it seems to be moving pretty fast. Hopefully there won't be too much traffic coming up. Speaking of software, the third thing that I really like about the Tesla Model 3 is that Spotify is integrated into the car. When I first got this car, there was only Slacker radio that was streamed through the Tesla Slacker service, and so when I wanted to stream music off my phone, whether it's SoundCloud or Spotify, I had to Bluetooth into the car, which would use my own data and use the battery life on my phone. But only after a few updates and only like a couple months after I got the car, Tesla integrated Spotify into the system and it's native into the system, which is great. I don't have to use my own data, and I don't have to use my own battery to play Spotify. But I do have to use my account, of course, to play Spotify, which is great because it keeps all the songs and playlists that I've already listened to in the account. So that's the third thing I really like about my Tesla Model 3. Before we get into the last thing I really like about the Tesla Model 3, I did make a video about the 5 things I don't like about the Tesla Model 3. So check out that video. I'll post it above and below so you can check it out. And the last feature that I really like about the Tesla Model 3, that actually a lot of cars kind of have a similar feature, but it's the driver profiles. The difference that the Tesla Model 3 has over other driver profiles on other types of OEMs and other brands, it really sets the settings for the entirety of the car. I really like it because, of course, my girlfriend drives the car and my girlfriend's sister drives the car from time to time, but I also have a profile for Turo, so I can set that, and then whoever's renting my car on Turo can just set whatever they want in the car and I have nothing to worry about. I also have a setting for laid back so that it pushes my seat back when I want to adjust the mount on this camera as well, instead of just moving the chair back and forth. I know it's a really small feature, but I just love the convenience of having just driver profiles like this, where they can say anything they want when they're driving the Tesla Model 3, and they don't have to touch my profile at all. It seems like Autopilot, or in this newest update, it really likes to hug the left side of the lane more. Not just on when it's passing by trucks. It seems to just always hug, at least on this drive, it seems to be hugging the left side more. So I wonder if that's a new update. Comment below if you've experienced this with the newest update while you're on Autopilot on the highway. All right, we're finally gonna run into some traffic. Of course, as we get closer to Los Angeles, we run into some traffic. Looks like we're about 9 miles away from our destination. It's gonna take us about 17 minutes to get there, and we're finally in some stop and go traffic. So let's see how Autopilot does in this section of the highway. So I actually haven't been in stop and go traffic for a bit since the quarantine. I haven't really been commuting anywhere. So far it feels like it's a little bit smoother, or maybe I'm just completely used to how Autopilot jerks, but it seems like the accelerations and the brakes seem to be smoother as it coasts through this rush hour traffic. But yeah, it looks like in terms of the battery, we've passed the 20% mark, and it looks like we're still gonna arrive with 15% or about 50 miles of range left. This is where I'm gonna go ahead and end it. So to recap, the top 5 things that I like about the Tesla Model 3 are the Autopilot system, because it really takes the fatigue off of driving and all the micro things that you have to do while driving, whether it's on the open highway or your rush hour commute in bumper to bumper traffic, along with the software updates that come with all the different features. Or actually, the first thing was the 0 to 60. I love the speed, and I love how you can change from chill to sport mode whenever you want. The second thing is the Tesla software updates. The next thing is Spotify. I love how Spotify is completely integrated within the Tesla system, and I don't have to use my phone to stream any of my music. The next thing after that is the Sentry mode and dash cam. I love how it's integrated in the system, and I don't have to buy any extra equipment to monitor my drives or to monitor my car when it's parked. And the last thing is the driver profiles. And I know it's kind of small, and I know a lot of different OEMs and other brands have similar functionalities with just setting driver 1 and driver 2, but I love how the Tesla driver profiles take over the whole entire car, including your seat adjustments, mirror adjustments, but also the infotainment adjustments as well, like the cooling and the air conditioning. So I really love that. If I had to rate which feature about the Tesla Model 3 was probably my most favorite or the best, it's gotta be the Autopilot feature or the full self-driving feature, really just the Autopilot feature at this point. Taking the fatigue out of driving and really just taking the control of the car when you're on your commute really opens up a lot of time and a lot of just headspace and stress about driving. You can kind of just let the car make all the actions on its own, and you just sit back and relax. Take this example, for instance. We're sitting in rush hour traffic right now, and it's bumper to bumper, but I have my hand hovered on the steering wheel, kind of just chilling there and having it sit there. My feet are near the accelerator and the brake, but I really trust the system that much in which it can just kind of coast and chug along the highway without really any sort of interaction at all, except every 30 seconds or a minute, I touch one of the scroll wheels so that the Autopilot system knows that I'm actually still here. I've really thought about switching this car or selling this car for any other electric car or even any performance cars, but not having the Autopilot feature is a huge drag that I just don't think I could really give up, that really none of the other manufacturers have anything close, except Cadillac with their Super Cruise, or maybe BMW with like their lane keep assist, but it's still not as good, I feel, from what I've seen, as Autopilot. Let me know what you guys think on my list of the top 5 things that I really like about the Tesla Model 3. And comment below if you agree or disagree, or if you think another thing is, or another feature is a lot nicer with the Tesla Model 3. I'd love to hear your thoughts. All right, guys, thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.